Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're diving into something that, well, it might sound a bit niche at first, but honestly, it offers some incredible insights into how big organizations really manage their people, their processes. We're talking about enterprise system configuration. And our way in, our lens for today is the CTHR 81-2505 exam. Now, hang on, before you think, oh, this is just exam prep, think again. We're using it as like a unique window into how these complex enterprise software systems actually work. These practice questions. They're not just about getting the right answer. They're like little clues, little puzzles that show us the critical settings that make these powerful systems tick.
Yeah, what's fascinating here is exactly that. How these questions, which seem very technical, really boil down fundamental ideas. They're genuine nuggets of knowledge about system admin, how data gets managed so carefully, and the exact steps you need in a real-world software setup. It's actually a pretty neat shortcut to understanding the core mechanics behind these huge tools that, well, run entire companies.
That's a really good way to put it, like reverse engineering the system's logic through the questions. It makes sense. And just so everyone has the basics, the CTHR 81-2505 exam itself, it's web-based, proctored. You get 180 minutes, so yeah, 3 full hours for 80 questions. And pass mark 65%, delivered in English. But like we said, our mission today isn't just about answers. We really want to get into the why behind these configurations. We want to give you a solid grasp of managing these intricate systems. Because even if you never directly configure one of these systems yourself, the underlying principles, accuracy, security, efficiency, they're gold for anyone just interacting with large-scale HR or business software.
All right, let's jump into the first scenario then. Imagine you're an admin, right? An employee messages you, hey, why isn't my position title showing up on my profile? What's the core configuration needed? What's the fundamental switch you need to flip? The options usually revolve around enabling features or maybe data model settings or specific configurations.
Okay, so the correct path here, the answer is A. Add the position field to the job info portlet in Manage Business Configuration.
Yeah.
And the reason this is so critical, it all comes down to how the system structures information. Think of that job info portlet as like a specific digital section on the employee's profile page, almost like a window. It controlled exactly which job details, title, department, things like that are actually visible there. So you could have position management switched on across the whole system, but if you haven't explicitly added the position field to that specific portlet, that window, it just won't show up for the user. It's a classic case of the data being in the system, but not surfaced where people need to see it.
Here's what gets really interesting for me. That specific example, it just highlights how much impact these seemingly small UI tweaks can have. It's not just, oh, the title's missing. A simple configuration oversight like that. It could mean a wave of support tickets, confused employees, and it might even break other HR processes if they rely on seeing that data there. It really shows how vital those front-end settings are for basic data visibility. And trust, really.
Absolutely. That visibility is key.
So that covers making existing data visible. But what if you're building something new, like from scratch within the system? Let's say you've created a totally new metadata framework object, an MDF object. So you've designed this custom digital container for some specific info, maybe, I don't know, tracking company laptops or special project codes. What's the absolute must-do step to make this new thing actually show up in the admin center so admins can even start using it?
Okay, the crucial step here is deconfigure the object to be secured using role-based permissions. Yeah, this is completely fundamental. It's all about security and access control in these big systems. For any custom MDF object you create to be visible, to be manageable in the admin center, it has to be secured using role-based permissions, RBP. It's not optional, which means you physically have to go into manage permission roles and assign the right permissions view, edit, whatever, to specific user roles. If you miss that security step, it doesn't matter how perfectly you built your custom object, users just won't see it, won't be able to interact with it at all. It's controlled access right from the start.
So what does this all mean? It really means permissions come first, then visibility. Makes total sense for security, definitely. But what's the common trip up here? Do people just forget that step, or is there maybe a misunderstanding, like they assume admin rights cover everything automatically?
It's often a bit of both, actually. People might just forget that for new stuff, the default setting is invisible until permission. Or, yeah, they might assume their general admin permissions are enough, not realizing RBP has that specific granular control layer just for MDF objects. It's a very common gotcha that can definitely hold up projects if you're not careful.
Interesting gotcha. Okay, let's switch gears a bit to automation, which, is huge for efficiency. Here's the question. When does the system automatically create a brand new record in an employee's job history? Does it happen when, say, personal info gets updated? Or maybe when a compensation workflow gets the final approval. Or perhaps when someone triggers an off-cycle event manually. Or when data is imported.
The correct trigger here is B, when a workflow for compensation information is approved.
Yeah.
And this is automated by design. It's there to ensure data integrity and, crucially, an audit trail. So when a workflow that involves compensation, things salary changes, pay grade adjustments, gets that final, okay, that approval, the system itself automatically generates a new time-stamped record in the job information history. This makes sure there's a clear, unchangeable record of these really important employment changes. Other things like just updating your home address or phone number. Important? Sure, but they don't trigger a new job history record because they don't change the core terms of employment that need that strict historical tracking.
Why should you care about this nuance? Because it reveals how these systems maintain vital historical data without manual intervention. Think about it, the potential chaos. Legally, financially, if every single pay rise or promotion had to be logged by hand and then double-checked across thousands of people. This automation is like the unsung hero of compliance in big companies. It probably prevents tons of potential fines, ensures benefits are calculated correctly years later.
Absolutely.
And it provides that undeniable history for critical employment data.
It's
All
fun.
about that integrity, without relying on humans potentially making mistakes.
Spot on. It removes that human error element for critical changes.
Okay, let's focus now on customizing the user experience again, but this time during hiring. If you want to control exactly which fields show up in that job information section when you're using the Hire Wizard to onboard someone new, what's the main admin tool you'd reach for? Is it like object definitions, permission roles again, or something else?
The tool you need here is definitely A, Manage Business Configuration. Yep. Manage Business Configuration, or BCUI as it's often called, is the primary place you go to define the structure and layout of those various portlets. Remember those digital sections or windows we talked about, including the job info portlet that you see in the Hire Wizard? So this tool lets administrators control exactly which fields are shown, whether they're mandatory or optional, even the order they appear in. It's really the central hub for any UI-level field configuration, especially in those really critical processes like hiring.
Right. This is where the magic happens for tailoring the user experience and data capture, too. It really shows the power admins have over that crucial onboarding journey. By fine-tuning what fields appear in the Hire Wizard, how they're presented, organizations can make data collection smoother, ensure consistency right from day one, and hopefully cut down on errors that might cause problems later. It's all about building an efficient, clear process from that very first interaction.
Precisely. Getting that initial data entry right is key.
Okay, for our final challenge today, let's look at something a bit more advanced, but incredibly useful. Dynamic, role-based permission groups. These are the groups where membership isn't static. It changes automatically based on employee data like the department, their location, their job title. What's the essential configuration piece needed to set up this powerful feature to make sure permissions stay current without someone having to constantly update lists?
The required setup involves B-set group criteria using managed permission groups with filter conditions. Yeah, dynamic groups are specifically created and handled within the Manage Permission Groups tool. You define them by setting up logical filters, basically rules based on different employee attributes. So you might say, everyone in the sales department in the London office. And the beauty is, this setup ensures the group membership updates automatically whenever an employee's data changes that matches or stops matching the criteria. So if someone transfers from Sales London to Marketing London, they automatically drop out of the first group and potentially into another. This automatic updating is absolutely crucial for managing permissions at scale, keeping things accurate with low effort in big, constantly changing organizations. Just imagine trying to manually track and update permission groups for thousands of people moving jobs.
Wow, yeah. This is an aha moment for anyone trying to manage permissions in a large, changing organization. That sounds like a lifesaver. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it really underlines the huge efficiency and accuracy benefits you get from automating permissions in these systems. Instead of admin teams spending ages updating group lists,
Exactly.
the system just handles it based on the rules you set. It slashes errors, cuts down security risks from people having old permissions they shouldn't, and just frees up so much admin time. It's a real game changer for scalability, isn't it?
It absolutely is. A huge time saver and risk reducer.
Well, we really hope this deep dive has given all of you listening a fresh look at the often invisible systems powering the modern workplace. Keep asking those why questions about the tools you use. And yeah, we definitely invite you to continue your own deep dive, looking for those underlying configurations that make everything tick.